right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Just give me a moment as I get everything going. I got to spam out a bunch of links and get everything showing up on the socials so people can find us here. And then we will be good to go. All right. Just grab the link, copy the link, put it on Instagram, going around and around. What's up, you guys? How's everybody doing? Got a couple people already in the chat with me. Going to be taking a look at some stuff here with post FOMC movements going on. Had a little bit of a spike there on the US dollar. So I wanted to come on here and chat with you guys a little bit about what's been moving and what's going on here after the news. So let me just make sure we are all set audio and visual wise. Looks like things are good. Got a couple people chatting in the room here with us. What's up, Chiru and Anka G? Good to see you guys. Welcome. Okay, so got a little stuff going on here with the old US dollar pairs with everything going on with the FOMC. So Jerome Powell just came on and started talking about everything that's going on with the inflation and the US economy, and it caused some really big moves on the US dollar, also with the stock market. So I figured we could just do a quick little session here chatting about what's going on and try and cover that. So we see the euro making a move higher here today. After the news, you can see that big old spike there on the right side of the screen. We'll zoom in and get a little bit more technical on this one. So you can see the scenario that we talked about this morning is this massive rally off of demand that we had looked for. So there must have been, from what I could tell, it was sort of mixed, but from the charts perspective, it seems like things were perceived as bearish for the US dollar. We saw a big spike on things like UJ and USD Swiss franc. And then we also saw a move here to the upside on EU. So we saw some bullishness on this pair and some bearishness on the dollar leading currencies. So dollar yen, dollar Swiss, both of those took a dip here. And now we see the euro making a bit of a move to the upside. Now, the next logical place for the euro dollar here to go, I think, is a move up to 1.215. So we've kept an eye on this level for as many times as I can remember in the last few weeks that we've been talking about the euro on this rise. You can see this growing demand for this currency pair, and right off the rip here, bam, we got some demand, and then follow through on the actual event right now. So a lot of spiking here on the euro USD. But things are moving across the board. There's a lot of different currency pairs that are moving here. So hello to everybody in here. We got, 42 people hanging out with me on the stream. Hey, if you're new to this channel, this is different than my main channel. We're going to be doing some extra stuff here. I know I keep saying that, but the plan is to get more content creators into this live stream segment over time, have more guest speakers and experienced traders show up and talk to you guys about different things. But today you're stuck with me. So hello to everybody in the chat. I see what we got, like 47 people in here. So welcome. USD just got wrecked. Yes, it did. It really sold off there. We got a lot of bearish pressure on the USD pairs. Jared said he got hit hard by USD Swiss today. Yeah, it stopped me out as well. Zaki says, what's up? Good to see you, Zaki. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Brad says, me too. Yeah, so a little bit of a tough day for the dollar bulls out there. But I think that for those of you guys who are bulls on the euro, then today is your day, it seems like, because things held nicely off of these lows, rallied off of that point, and do look like they have potential to make their way up to 1.215. So we'll see if that can happen. Right now, we've got some short-term barriers for price. You can see right around here, struggling to get past this zone, but I think that for the day traders out there, if you're out there looking at this thing saying, where's the trade in the next 20, 30 minutes, watching for the breakout here could be an interesting little play, just even something like this, looking for the run up higher. What is that? Zone to zone there, that's roughly 50 pips of movement there. But again, when this thing gets moving, it really, really can get things spiking all over the place. So how, sorry, I'm reading your chats up here on the top screen. How Jerome Powell's press conference will affect the market? Well, it's going on right now, and he is basically the guy who talks all about monetary policy and interest rates. So what he says can very seriously move the markets. Because if they talk about, hey, you know, we don't see raising interest rates anytime soon, which kind of was the story that we were getting from what I was watching there on the TV in the other room, it really did seem like, you know, they have no interest right now in raising rates, which puts a pause on some of the bullish cases for the US dollar, which, you know, there was this argument to be made that people were going to be bullish on the dollar because things could look like raising rates sooner, but that's not quite what we see just yet. It's 3:30 a.m. here. Just need to get my attendance. Well, thanks, Ish, for being here. You should probably go to sleep pretty soon, but thanks for showing up. Appreciate that. So how did the US dollar dropping cause the Swiss to rise? Well, John, that's a good question. One of the things to think about when we're looking at these major currencies is that if the dollar falls out of favor, other things might rise in favor, right? So if the dollar becomes less interesting to people, very well could be the case that people flock to something more safe, more steady, like the Swiss franc. So what happens is if the dollar just becomes generally less favorable, other things rise, relatively speaking. So if the dollar becomes weak, that Swiss franc has some room to make a move to the upside. Traders never sleep. I feel that, although I sleep a lot. So I don't know. You got to get your sleep pattern down, man. It's important. So yeah, so I wanted to point out euro dollar. I wanted to also look at gold with you guys just to see what's going on with gold after all of this news. You can see gold bouncing right off of this level. And this goes right back to what we talked about earlier in the day on my stream on my channel. So let's pull this up. We'll pop it up for you guys to see there, and we can check that out. So when we're looking at gold here, what you'll notice is that gold really held the low of this range beautifully. So we actually saw price chop around here for a little while, but then with that pin bar there, just absolute gold demand coming in hot off of this 1765 zone. And it looks like it may have room to run higher. So when I'm looking at gold, I'm saying, you know, I think same old analysis that I've had for a little while. If the bulls can stay strong, I think the next logical area for a target is 1810. Now, this goes against my concept because I'm pretty much willing to be a bear right now on gold if we get into some of these upper zones. And same thing with the euro. If the euro rallies really high, then I'd probably be looking to short it. So these are just my thoughts and my opinions, of course. But you know, short term, it does look like there's some nice technical demand for both the euro dollar and the gold market. So what do you guys think? Real quick, let me know. When we're looking at this news, when we've got everything going on, why am I so short? There we go. What do you guys think? Bullish or bearish? I'll pop up the logo for you guys, and you can tell me what you think. Are you bullish or bearish on gold right now? And what do you think? Why? Just chat really quick in the comment section. What do you think about gold rallying off of this lows? Are you a bull? Are you a bear? Do you not really care? Just let me know what you're thinking. I'd like to just get an audience check, if you will. And so that's what I'm thinking is with gold being on these lows right now, forming, or not lows, but on this rip to the upside, the next logical area for price to go, you've got this barrier. I think that's your first stop short term. But I think that if price really wants to make its move, probably headed up to 1810. That's where I would say price goes should things continue strong for gold. Next logical target from there, bigger picture, is going to be for me 1850. So let me read what you guys have on the chat here. We'll pull up some comments and we can get some. Oh yeah, I just wanted to see what you guys had to say about gold. So we got some bulls, bearish until it breaks and closes above 1800, holding bearish. Bull because the US sneezed. Bullish, bearish below the daily chart. From the 4 hour, I'm bullish. 1804 target on gold. What do you think about the upcoming non-farm payroll? Well, I will definitely be doing a live stream for it. So swing by when we do that, and we will for sure answer some questions as it comes in hot. That's not till next week, though, so we got some stuff to talk about right now, here and now-ish. I think you're getting tired because you're up at 3:30 a.m., my man. So we'll get there. Don't you worry. Let's focus on this one first. Do you think Biden's speech later today will have an impact? It certainly will. Anytime you have big, powerful political people making any statements or decisions, it can cause the markets to move. Remember when Trump would tweet something and the whole market would go crazy, right? So you gotta keep an eye on anything that has the potential to move the markets. Very well could. So you don't know if it will, but you watch it and you see, right, with Jerome Powell making some statements about the U.S. economy, it clearly, the market reacted initially pretty bearish. We'll pull up the DXY, take a look here, and you can see, you guys, let me get this bigger screen for you. We can see right there, bam, got some pretty bearish rejection on the 4-hour chart here. You can see we rolled over really hard. So the dollar seems weak. The dollar seems to be having some troubles, which goes against my thought process. I thought it was going to have a bullish week. Again, just goes to show, it doesn't matter how long you do this, you can still be wrong sometimes. So, kind of surprising here with everything that's happened. We really, had some sell pressure there on the DXY as things, I had this idea of, we were looking at this upward trend here, holding pretty nicely. And then today, with everything going on with the speech, we're seeing some bearish reaction. So how do we play it? Well, if you're a short-term bear on the dollar, if you think we have more room to the downside, we did just break out of this level here. If you really want to be a bear, something like this to me would be the case. But for me, I'm not super ready to be a bear on the dollar at any point right now. So I'm sort of just sitting on the sidelines looking for opportunities. If we get bullish setups, then I'd be more favorable towards that. But for me right now, as a dollar bull, it's not the best day, but it is what it is. How did you guys do today? Let me know. Are you guys having a good day in the markets, bad day in the markets? Or I guess maybe a better question would be, how's your week going in the markets? Let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking. You guys want to see how my week is going so far? There it is. Not so good. Wait, let me pop up myself next to it. There we go. There we go. There I am, freaking out. A little bit of a tough week for me, but it's all right. It happens. The month of April was not the best month. Honestly, sort of ending out slightly negative here. Last month was really good, ended very, very positive. So it's all good. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. And as a trader, you got to be able to accept both outcomes, because not every week is a good week. So that's what I'm thinking there on the DXY. Is for me, I'm sitting on the sidelines until we get more of a bullish setup. What that could look like is if we started to get a bounce back, if we started to get a break, sort of start to form some higher lows, maybe things get a bit more interesting. What about the stock market? For my friends who take a look at the indices, we'll take a quick look at the S&P 500, which of course is just hovering at all-time highs still. You can see that seems to be the case almost all the time with the S&P lately. As things stay bullish, they pretty much just hold right around the top there. You can see we had a little bit of a scare there on the SPY. It's hard to even see the pullback because of how bullish this thing is. That's all of the concern is in just one little tiny bar here on the 1-hour chart. So strong is the stock market. Same thing with the US 30. We can take a look at that. This is the Dow Jones. We'll take a look at it, and you can see not as bullish here on the US 30, but still, nonetheless, still doing pretty good overall. So you can see, for those of you guys who are watching these currencies, or not currencies, what am I saying? For those of you guys who are watching these indices, keep an eye on these pullback levels on the US 30. Watching for this thing to hold here is going to be big. I think that if you're a Super Bowl on this, if you're looking at everything that's going on with the meetings and such like that, and you think it's all positive, watch out for pullbacks like this that could just lead to the highs. The thing about these moves is that they can happen a lot longer than people expect. A lot of times people say, oh, it's too high, it's got to pull back. It's not necessarily the case. Something that's strong can remain strong for a very long time. Let's go take a look at the dollar yen, because that one really had a dip there on the lower time frames. I was watching this thing, you guys, on the 5-minute chart, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there on the 5-minute chart, right? I don't really trade the 5-minute chart. I just had it on my phone for some reason. I just had it pulled up on my phone, and it was on the 5-minute chart. And all of a sudden I just saw this bar, and I was like, oh my goodness, what just happened with the dollar yen? 110 pips up on GJ, says John. Congrats, John. Well done, man. That's awesome. So let's see what we think there on the dollar yen. So the dollar yen here on the lower time frames, we're looking at this. We'll drop it to the 1 hour chart even. The 1 hour chart, super bearish throughout the last several hours here. We've really just seen this thing sell off. You're coming into contact, however, if you're watching yen pairs, this one seems to be coming back into play at this 4 hour level here. Looks like price is pulling back. If you get your fibs going on this thing, I'm going to remove the higher time frame fib and we'll put a fresh one right here. Keep an eye on that 38.2 because that actually looks pretty good to me for short-term pullbacks in terms of if you're like me and you're bearish on the yen, bullish on the dollar. I like that setup potentially for a bull scenario. We'll see if that one wants to play out, but again, might not get there by the end of the day. That spike in volatility, we'll see if it has some follow through for the bulls on the yen or sellers of dollar yen. Price coming down to here is your first stop. But I think that if price really was to get bearish, if we were really to see some dollar weakness follow through, you'd probably see the dollar yen make its move back down to the previous lows of the last several days here, down at 107.5 roughly. 60 pips on dollar yen before it collapsed, says Martin. Yeah, that was a tough move there. I mean, it really was making its way up higher, and then just bang. And that's news for you. News can really move these things all of a sudden. So you got to be aware of them coming, or you got to be careful. Got that move on Euro USD. Happy day. Congrats, man. That's awesome. So what else? We looked at dollar yen. We haven't looked at dollar Swiss. We can take a look at dollar Swiss as well just to see. This one really got sold off hard. You can see this demand zone just completely got, it held for a little while. You can see, we'll go to the daily chart even. So daily chart, I was kind of expecting this price to hold, and it did for a while. You can see it tried multiple times. Tried, and then each time just got sold into. You can see, check these wicks out. If we just zoom in for just a moment here on the dollar Swiss franc, look at these wicks. Every time price tried to rally, it got smacked back down by bears. So I was long on the dollar Swiss right around here. So I took a long trade. I made money on this trade. I took a long trade here, closed out for a small profit on the rebound, and then entered back here, and then ended up getting stopped out here. So not the best trading week for me on dollar Swiss franc. However, you can see that this level clearly was trying. There was a lot of bullish attempts in this area before sellers finally sold off. Now, the thing is, with that selling off, I think it has room to shoot down maybe to the next zone here at that 61.8% retracement. Because what happens is when you get these big consolidation zones and you get lots of pressure back and forth on these markets, what can happen is when they do finally break, they can break with a lot of conviction and really keep going. So that is what we're going to be looking out for on the dollar Swiss franc, is maybe a pullback further to the 61.8. I still like this currency pair for a potential long setup. I'll be keeping an eye on that. If I take any trades, of course, I will alert that to members inside of the group. There is also a promo code down below in the description. If you want to join our private Discord, there's a link down below for you to check out, and you can join us there, trade alongside myself and the rest of our analysts there inside of our A1 trading community. Hey, if you're enjoying the stream, smack that like button down below, and also subscribe to this secondary channel. This is bonus content, basically, on top of the content that you get from my channel. I've been doing YouTube for a while just on my own channel, but this channel is going to act as sort of our other place for more content, special guests, bring people on that you might know from the industry. That's the longer term plan, at least. So subscribe to this channel, turn on post notifications for this one as well for bonus content coming your way. And we will keep going. So what was that? So CAD Swiss dropping. Let's look at CAD Swiss. We looked at dollar Swiss. This one also moving, CAD Swiss franc. So this one's doing different stuff. You can see this one's actually rallying because what we're talking about today is mostly US dollar impacting news. So we can go look at, USD versus, check this out actually. So this is correlation down here, correlation with the dollar Swiss franc. So you can actually see that these two are uncorrelated right now, meaning that right now the CAD Swiss is sort of moving higher and the dollar Swiss franc is moving lower. It's moving opposite. So they're not necessarily super correlated. They're not inversely correlated either, but you can see that there was a strong correlation between the two, but now we can see sort of a less correlation, low correlation level, at least for right now. There might be a trade there. There might actually be a trade setup. So I appreciate you bringing that up, John, on the CAD Swiss. So check this out. If the CAD Swiss is bullish, right? It's moving higher. Yet the dollar Swiss franc is moving lower. What we would call that uncorrelated, or the correlation is breaking down between them, because during this time they were moving in the same direction. And then since then, they've sort of changed. So the CAD has sort of remained and the dollar has plummeted. So what we could do is, if you're super bullish on CAD Swiss or you're bearish on the Swiss franc like myself, we could make the argument that we could see dollar Swiss franc bounce back and maybe the CAD Swiss franc sort of drift a little bit lower or even stay flat to sort of bring that correlation back into play. Correlation is an interesting concept. I definitely plan on doing some more videos on that in the future, but you're basically looking at correlated currency pairs, markets, commodities, whatever you're looking at, and trying to find trade setups that profit off of those correlations. So that's what we're looking at there with the old CAD Swiss franc. So anyways, a lot of trade setups coming after the fact with this news. And I just wanted to hop on here and just chat with you guys a little bit about what we see with that, and what there might be some trade setups for the rest of the week. Of course, if I take any trades, I will alert them inside of our private group. And there's a promo code down below in the description. So thank you guys very much for tuning into this little mini stream. I just wanted to jump on here and talk some trade ideas after the news. And make sure to subscribe to this secondary channel so that you can come back in the future and do more with us. So thanks so much. We'll see you back next time.